In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, if you want to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I am at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all these awesome people coming in right now. Thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear from Instagram, so you'll need to pop on over to YouTube. If you type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, you should find the show, but it's definitely youtube.com/living low carb man. So go follow me over there if you're not already. I picked up quite a few subscribers lately with all this fasting stuff. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, we have a podcast called Jimmy Rants. So go check that out over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. And all of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants. Did my voice just crack there? Yeah. Jimmy Rants. Sound like a little 14-year-old. We are going to continue the focus on fasting. So it was right about 6 days ago that I put out the challenge that I wanted you guys to join me on a 7-day fast. And of course, the initial reaction was, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like that before. The longest I've ever done is intermittent fasting. How in the world can I get through fasting? That sounds kind of wackadoodle, Jimmy. Are you sure? But then 2,000 plus of you decided to show up and do this with me. And so we are currently at the point in the fast that's officially day number 2. Some people started a little bit earlier. Some people are starting a little bit later. I started on the 4th of July after I had my meal. I had one meal on the 4th of July, somewhere around 12:15-ish. So I am coming up, you guys, on almost the end of day 2 for me. And I have been warning you, day 2 is the hardest day. Some people, it bleeds into day 3 a little bit, but day 2 is the very hardest day of this entire fast. So that is what we're on here today. And I want to use this Jimmy Rants episode here. And what we're going to talk about here today is just get through this day 2. Can you get through it? Do you think you've got enough salt in the world that will help you get through it? Do you think you have enough water? And yes, by the way, I keep this by my side all throughout a fast. And in it, usually I fill this thing completely up, and I use these fasting drops from Keto Chow, put about 10 drops in there. And I've been just like guzzling this, not guzzling it, but sipping it all throughout the day to stay on top of it. Do you think you can make it through day 2? And I know I've kind of been setting the stage for this for a little while, because those of you that have never done more than intermittent fasting, you don't know what day 2's like. So I'm trying to pull back the curtain for you a little bit and letting you see this is what you can expect. And so a lot of you are in that moment now. Perhaps you woke up this morning, maybe you had some symptoms yesterday, and today you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm kind of okay, but I'm spacey. Some of the things we talked about yesterday afternoon. You're starting to have some interesting bathroom habits. TMI alert, but I had an interesting poop this morning. It's always fascinating when you start getting deeper into a fast, what happens with the bathroom stuff. I don't want to get gross or anything, but just observe that and notice that there's things that are happening in your digestive system when you're not eating any food at all. that are fascinating. And I just want you to observe it and see it. It's pretty fascinating when you stop and think about it, because a lot of people just assume you stop eating, you stop pooping, and you really don't stop pooping. I'm just going to leave that right there. So if you're just joining us, it is day number 2 of this fasting experiment. A lot of you guys have taken me up on this hashtag water fasting challenge. You've been posting all about it on your Instagram page and various pages. You've been tagging me in your stories. So thank you for doing that. Please continue to do that. I would love to see how you guys are doing on this. But I want to say something very clear here today. I don't want you to be the hero. I think sometimes there's a certain personality type that says, well, if Jimmy set 7 days as the goal, damn it, I'm going to hit 7 days. And so you kind of have this hard-nosed approach of, even if your body is screaming at you, end the fast, you keep going. You start to have physiological effects. One lady came on here yesterday on Jimmy Rants, and she said, I got so nauseous, I got so sick that my husband needed to get me to the ER. I'm like, in the fast. I mean, there's no question about that. Now, if you're just like, well, I'm hungry and I'd like to eat, okay, that's not necessarily a good enough reason to end the fast. But if you are not well and you don't physically feel good, obviously you're going to have those moments of hunger, which we've talked about in the previous videos. You're going to have little moments here and there where it's going to seem a little intense, especially here in day 2. But if you start to physiologically get a reaction that's not good and you don't feel well, the difference between fasting in this way and having an eating disorder, for example, is the eating disorder, you're not in control. You feel like you have to purge, you feel like you have to whatever. But with fasting, you're in complete control. And I want you to remind yourself of that often. Any point during this fast, you can choose to end it. And I don't want anybody to have guilt about ending this fast. Several have already written to me and said, hey, I tried, I didn't make it, but I made it 48 hours. I made it 36 hours, and the longest I ever did before was 18. Guys, that is a win. And I want you to look at all of this as a positive. The fact that you even tried to do this is a huge accomplishment. So never, ever, ever forget that while you're in the midst of this. Now, those of you that are still on this journey, so am I. Today has been, it's been a little bit of an up and down for me because it is day 2 and I'm getting towards the end of the day 2 and flipping into day 3 right as noon comes around here on the East Coast. I'll be getting into my day 3 at that point, and I've had some grumbles in the stomach, and I've had a lot of spaciness today. But here's some fun things that are starting to happen. I'm already noticing how much sharper my brain is. And I try to stay pretty sharp all the time anyway, but the brain health is on. The brain strength, the mental strength, all of that's really on. Really fascinatingly, too, people think you get all moody when you're not eating. Actually, when you get into a very deep fasted state, the mood calms down. You're pretty chill. I know this is called Jimmy Rants, but it's chilled rants apparently, because I just don't get real uptight. And you might notice that as well as you get into this. So once again, if you're just joining us, we are in day number 2 of my water fasting challenge. I put out this challenge last Sunday, and we started it on after your 4th of July meal was over. That's when it started for most people. Some people started a little bit earlier. Others will be starting in the next couple of days. It's all good. We're doing all these videos to support you guys in this effort to try something maybe you've never tried before. And the biggest challenge of doing an extended fast, like 7 days, is day number 2, which is where we are. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say and what your questions are about day number 2. What's been your experience so far? What are some of those questions that are popping up? Can I talk you off the ledge? Are you getting ready to quit and you're like, Jimmy, do I need to quit or not? I definitely would love to engage you on that. But before we get to that, it's the salt challenge, which, by the way, Redmond's Real Salt makes these cute little salt thingies. I forgot I had this, so I pulled it out of the cabinet today. So I need you all to go get your salt. Get it ready, guys, because here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just dump it right in underneath my tongue here. Here we go. You got your salt ready? Here we go, here we go, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Woo. I need more. I need more. My last name is Moore, so I do need more. See what I did there? Woo! That's good stuff, man. Okay. It burns when it goes down, but does it feel so good? If you're feeling a little bit down, you're feeling a little bit hungry, you're feeling a little bit headachy, jittery, whatever, put some salt in your mouth because all that goes away. And it's amazing, just the salty taste gives you the sensation of having just eaten something. Christine is a big fan of like potato chips. She used to have those coming out the wazoo. And I think what she loved was the salt, not necessarily the starchy chips. She loved the salt. And so, yeah, that's probably where she got the enjoyment. All right, water time. Everybody go get your water. I got mine. Again, I have some Keto Chow fasting drops in there. And I want you to keep sipping. So 3, 2, 1, dilly dilly. Man, that tastes so good after you have that salt too. Have you done the whole salt, water, salt, water, salt, water, salt? And it just, and especially with those minerals from the Keto Chow stuff. Tastes so good. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Day number 2, we are here, you guys. Who is still with me? What's the questions you have? What are the issues? Tell us your experience. Lisa says, I'm feeling super energetic. That is a great sign. That energy is coming from the boosting ketones. And generally, the really high boosting ketones happens in day number 3, but somebody just posted her blood ketones on Instagram, and it was 6.7. And she was saying, is this okay? Am I dangerous? It's not dangerous. I told her with a 6.7 blood ketone, she probably has blood sugar south of 70. And that's okay. We've talked about that at great length, you guys, that as you fast, your body taps into stored body fat. When it taps into stored body fat, it converts that over into blood ketones, a usable source of energy in the body, which is why your brain's on fire, why you're so energetic. Don't freak out about a number if you're testing. You'll notice I have not urged anybody to be testing blood ketones or blood sugar, because I think it makes you more neurotic about the numbers. If you just do it and just live in the moment of it all, you're going to get the benefits. You don't have to test. Now, if you're nerdy and you want to test, it's all good. I'm right there with you. I'm just as nerdy. But I think sometimes you can paralyze yourself worrying about a 6.7 blood ketone when in the context of a fast, an extended fast like this, it's completely normal. Mystery Lady says, thanks, Jimmy. I'm carnivore. What do you break your fast with? So we're not quite there yet. We're only on day number 2. And so when we get to day number 5, maybe day 6 is when I'll start talking about breaking the fast. It's a little bit early to be talking about breaking a 7-day fast this early. So hang with me. We'll get to that later in the week. Daigu says, good morning. Really appreciate all these Instagram lives helping with fasting. You're amazing. Thank you for that. That's sweet. Plant says, is a 5-calorie K-cup breaking the fast? Probably not. I mean, I'm not going to squabble over minimal amounts of like coffee, carbs or whatever. I want to know what calories are in coffee though. I assume that's the K-cup that you're referring to. If it's a flavored one, that might not be a good idea. But in general, no, that should not break your fast. Keto Auntie says, first time doing anything longer than an 18.6. That's awesome. I was so nervous about it. Day 2, I'm still going strong. Thank you for all the videos. They've really helped. Great. And guys, thank you for the feedback on how these videos have helped. If I'd known that there was a need for support for fasting, I would have done this a long time ago. I wrote this book 3 years ago. And I would have been happy to do this sooner. So my apologies for not using my voice and my wisdom on fasting and sharing this with you earlier. I will be better at that when I'm back from my sabbatical. I promise you. I will tap into what you guys need and offer support any way that I can. Which, by the way, if you're watching this and you're not currently doing this fast with us in July, I am going to do it again before I leave on my sabbatical. September 1st is when that is. I'm going to do it again probably in the third week of August. I've got a speaking event in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, like August 17th. So I was thinking we would start, that's a Saturday. I was thinking we would start on maybe like August 19th. So that will be literally less than 2 weeks before I go away. So stay tuned. And those of you that are doing this 7 days with me now, you could do it again next month if you wanted to. Let's see. Life on Keto says, good morning. Feeling great on day number 2, taking the fasting drops and the salt, keeping hydrated, feeling optimistic. See, I love the positiveness, because when you frame all of this in, I am going to do this, I am succeeding, I do feel good, your body hears all that. I know it sounds kind of woo-woo to think your body's listening, but your body's listening. And whatever stimuli you're giving it, positive or negative, it's listening. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, oh my gosh, this is miserable, oh my gosh, how can I deal with this? This is frustrating. Your body's going to be stressed. And when your body's stressed, you can't fast. When your body is stressed, you can't get into that relaxed state, and your body's going to just scream at you to eat because it needs to be calmed down. There's other ways to calm yourself down, by the way, than eating. Those deep breaths, man, they're like salt. Salt for your soul. Lisa says, thanks for giving this time, this AM, so I can join in. I was so grouchy last night, but honestly, I wasn't hungry. The longest fast ever at 42 hours. So many people are reporting this is the longest they've ever gone. And to me, that's just so gratifying. I love hearing that. Nancy says, the lives are helpful. Thank you for your time. I am happy to do it. Trick says, last night really sucked. Started 4th of July at 8 p.m. I don't think I fed enough. Feeling so much better after only 5 hours of total sleep last night. Woke up a few times to pee, but not tired. I also got up early today, Tricks. For some reason, I was wide awake at 3:30 a.m. So I only got about 5 hours sleep as well. And that's not abnormal when you're early on in a fast. Sometimes you will have a little bit of funkiness in the sleep. Don't let that freak you out. A little bit of it is your body doesn't have to repair as much, but some of it is fasting is a stressor. And so as your body is getting used to this new form that you're doing with it, with not eating, your body has to adjust. And sometimes it adjusts in ways that can impact your sleep. So don't freak out about it as you get deeper into a fast. I've done 3 21-day fasts, and generally the worst sleep is usually day 2, 3. So today and tomorrow, you might have some funky monkiness when it comes to your sleep. I feel very well rested, even though I got less sleep, but it should get better the longer you stay on this. And obviously when you start eating again, that will help too. Magnesium an hour before you go to bed will help. So if you take a liquid form of magnesium, and definitely these drops have magnesium in it, the fasting drops from Keto Chow. If you do it an hour before bed, it actually will help you sleep pretty well. A Targata says 45 hours, going strong, little muscle ache, been through chemo, so this is nothing. Yeah, by comparison, this is probably a cinch. Lixel says 47 hours done, feeling good, excellent. Melody says day 1 was so awesome. Caption KC, feeling great at 40 hours. Karen says I'm past day 2 into day 3 so far. So good. Norma says, been watching the Food Network. What are you doing? Don't watch the Food Network unless you're a sadist. Are you that sadistic, Normas? Not hungry at all. Didn't sleep very well, but going strong. Karen says a bit of a headache, but not too bad. Yeah, there's a lot of people reporting headaches. And the first question I always ask is, Were you drinking coffee and or diet soda or other sources of caffeine before you started this, and now you're not? So that is a caffeine withdrawal headache and not necessarily a fasting headache. I haven't had any headaches on this one, but I'm also staying very well hydrated, because if you are dehydrated, then you'll get a headache. That's one of the clear signs of dehydration, is headache. So it's why you want to keep sipping. Everybody sip real quick. And keep salting. It's going to help you. Texas Livingston says, can ketones go too high on a fast? What does too high mean? I mentioned the lady earlier had 6.7. She says mine was 4.8 last night, 5.3, 36 hours fasted. Why? That's not too high. What would be the danger of levels of ketones that high? None. People get fearful because they've heard the word ketoacidosis. Oh, it's high ketones. Well, it's not just high ketones. It's extremely high ketones to the tune of 20.0 and above on a blood ketone meter. But not just that. 20.00 on a blood ketone meter combined with extremely high blood glucose. Well, on this fast, your glucose is not going extremely high. It's going lower. And your blood ketones are going to a moderate level of that 4.8 to 5.3. So no, don't worry about that. That is completely normal. And I did a video long before we started this fast explaining this, that when your body starts shifting over, getting rid of a lot of the glucose in your body because you're not eating any food, you're going to see a drop in your blood glucose and a commensurate rise in your blood ketones. So I would predict, with you having 4.8 blood ketones last night, 5.3 this morning, if you test your blood glucose, I bet you it's below 60, because you're not using glucose primarily as fuel. You're using ketones. So the fact that you have ketones at a higher level is a good thing, because it's indicating that's how you're fueling your body on this fast. Trick says, TMI moment, it happened to me this morning too. I call it the scutters. Yeah, we got the scutters, all right. Plus, I had several loud hiccups during the night and this morning. Yes, the hunger hiccups are real, guys. I talked about that on last night's Jimmy Rants. Gina says, I'm up 2 pounds today. What does that mean? It means you don't need to step on the scale, Gina. Why are you stepping on a scale during a fast? Makes no sense. Don't do that. What could it be? You could be drinking a lot of water, and then it's retaining some of that water while your body's still dumping glycogen. Don't freak out and stop stepping on the stupid scale. What do I call that scale? That's right, the lying liar that lies. Get off of it. Don't make me come get you. Caption KC, set my AC on the usual temperature overnight, but I froze, setting it a little warmer tonight. Yeah, last night I found the same thing. I did not crank it down like I had been, because I'm anticipating that with this fast I might be a little colder, but I did okay. I wasn't hot and I wasn't cold, so it was just right. Yellow-eyed says, I did 20 hours, the longest time ever. I will try it again. Hey, that's okay. 20 hours is good, especially if it's the longest you've ever done before. Ketones were at 1.2 at 40 hours in. Does that seem odd? No, it seems normal. Seems very normal, Gundolin. Guys, stop worrying about numbers. I know it's so tempting. Well, I saw a 3.7. Everybody else only has a 1.1. Stop that. You're going to give yourself a neurosis. And I think when you get paralyzed by numbers is the moment that you start to have stress creep in that you don't even realize. Just don't do that. Guys, I'm not testing anything. I might, when I get home and I'm closer to my blood ketone meter and it's like day 4-ish of the fast, I might test just out of curiosity, because I've done so many fasts and I've been very well keto adapted since 2012. Test just to see where I am. But those of you that are newer to keto and this is your first time fasting, you're gonna have higher levels of ketones. Don't freak out, guys. You're gonna stress me out, make me want to eat. Stop that. Caption KC, yeah, I'm at work this morning. The brain is clicking. It does. You got this like Everything's firing on all cylinders. Beth says, I'm 90% in, lots of self-talk for the 10%. Today, after 4:59, I'll be longer than I've ever gone before on a fast. Even volunteered to go work, my biggest trigger spot. Well, hang in there, Beth. You got this. Bag Lady says, day one for me. Your support's very much appreciated. You're welcome. Keto good food. What is your opinion on people with adrenal issues in fasting? See, I'm not going to medically diagnose anything. If somebody has adrenal issues, certainly they need to talk with their doctor about that, or someone within the keto space that could work with them on healing the adrenal stuff. I have adrenal stuff. We shared about it in my talk from the Low Carb Cruise, talking about leaving on the sabbatical. Both Christine and I had our adrenal numbers run, and it weren't pretty. In the morning time, my normal reading is somewhere like 11 to 13. Mine was 4. So I have those issues, and yet I'm thriving pretty well doing this fast. So I don't think it's a contraindication, but that's a decision that I made for myself based on the knowledge that I have. Definitely anyone else in that situation needs to make that same decision. Sharon says, 39 hours in, almost did the 6-ounce black coffee like someone else on here did, but the headache is lessening a lot so far today, hoping even better after 48 hours. Yeah, I think it will, Sharon. I think once you get off of the caffeine, you might have intense headaches for about a 24-hour period, but generally they do go away. And then when you go back to eating keto again, guys, and when you break the fast, let that be a lesson. Let that be a lesson that maybe all that coffee or whatever it is that makes you have caffeine get in your body, maybe you don't need it as much as you think you do. Some people say, well, I can't function in the morning until I have my coffee. I don't personally like coffee, so I don't get that, but I don't understand. Keto, to me, gives you the energy you need to start your day. I'm up very early in the mornings, most days in my normal routine, somewhere between 4 to 5 a.m., and yeah, I bounce out of bed and I'm ready to take on the world. Now, I know that's my personality type. Not everybody has that, but yeah, I don't get this need for caffeine on a very high level. Rose says, caffeine withdrawal headache, so excited to break the habit. Excellent. Beth says, had several cravings for sweets that were quickly replaced with cravings for salmon and steak. Well, that's a good sign, I guess, Beth. Morgan says, I feel amazing this morning. Last night was rough with the hunger. I drank lots of water and had some salt. Thanks for all the suggestions. Yes, anytime you get any symptom whatsoever that is detrimental, I want you to pop open your salt and get it in your mouth. Now I want you dilly and drink up. Those guys are going to sustain you through this day two. Day two's rough, but it doesn't have to be if you do all these things that we've been talking about. Nancy says, at 40 hours, I'm a 1 day at a time person, but I'm confident I'll go at least one more. No, Nancy, I want you to reframe that. I want you to say, dang it, I'm going to do 7 days. Because if you say, I'm going to do one more, guess what happens? You do one more and you're done. But if you say, dang it, I'm going to do 7, and you go one more and you go, okay, only 5 more, only 4 more, only 3 more. See where I'm going there? Don't psych yourself into ending this sooner than maybe you could. Trick says 38 hours in, doing better than last fast. Thank you for suggesting the fasting drops from Keto Chow. Total game changer. Guys, these things are amazing. I've never used them with a fast before this one because they just came out with this. But if you have not picked up a bottle of these fasting drops from Keto Chow, go on over to Amazon. They're a great company. I love the people behind the company. And it's concentrated forms of sodium and magnesium, which is a true godsend. And I basically have been just like loading it up in every glass of water that I've drank all throughout this fast. Martha says, I feel very peaceful about this fast. That's awesome, Martha. You're not anxious. You're not worried about stuff. You're just doing it. And that's the way you do it. Beth says, being experienced, how are you doing? Do you still have talks with yourself? Well, I have done a lot of them, Beth, as you know. And I did literally write a book all about this subject. So when I was writing the complete guide to fasting is when I got a lot of experience doing a lot of different kinds of fasts so that I could be well educated to help write on this subject. I'm doing really well. I mean, it's the predictable things that are happening. This spacey feeling, those moments where the stomach starts to go roar, the bowel movements at interesting times, all of it. And I'm just amazed every time I do this, it does get a little easier, a little easier, a little easier. I'm currently 46 hours into my fast, and usually by this point, in the past, I will have had some like violent reactions, hunger, and things like that. I wonder how much of me handling this pretty well is I've been so chill the last 2 months trying to like slow ride my way into the sabbatical that I'm more relaxed than I've been in the past. And maybe when I've done these before, I was a little more uptight, and thus the hunger, thus the reaction. It's just my theory, thinking it through. You're making me think it through, Beth. Yeah, that seems to make sense, that because I'm more chill right now going into the sabbatical soon, that's probably helping me with this fast, which if that's true, when I start doing this alternate week of 7 days of fasting with 7 days of eating meat, water, and salt only, I should be able to breeze through that really easy. That should be super duper simple. Melody said, I had a great ketone level last night at 2.6. Great. Hungry Caterpillar at the 50-hour mark. I got really lightheaded, no energy, and jittery. Does that pass? Yeah. Like I said, 50 hours, you're into day 2 at that point. Actually, you're into a little bit of day 3 at that point. Day 2, 3 is the hardest. Day 2, 3 is when your body is screaming at you, hello? Aren't you going to eat sometime? And you just got to get past that strong initial knocking. And that's what you're getting with that lightheadedness, the no energy, and the jittery. All of that is definitely make sure you're salted up, watered up, electrolyted up, as we've talked about all week. But sometimes you just got to get through it. Now, as we're talking about here today, if you need to end the fast, please end it if you must. Don't be the hero. Don't be to the point of you feel like you got to go to the ER. If you're at that point, eat something. Please. You have my permission to eat at that point. Heather says ketone 6.6 with blood sugar of 49, feeling great. And see, people would just see those numbers alone, Heather, and they would freak out. And I don't want anybody to freak out about those numbers. Those numbers are phenomenal and normal. Within the context of keto, would those be a little out of whack? Yes. Within the context of an extended fast, is a 6.6 blood ketone level and a 49 blood sugar normal? It is, especially since she says she is asymptomatic. I know that blows your mind. You're like, how can a sub 50 blood sugar be a good thing? Remember, look at the blood sugar, 49. Look at the blood ketones, 6.6. The ketones are stepping in the place of where maybe that other 30, 40, 50 points of blood sugar would have been if she was just eating keto, and most certainly if she was a carb burner. So that's great, Heather. That's a good sign. Jason, he says, I'm not really going to the bathroom. Is that also normal for some? Number 2. Yeah. I mean, you're going to empty out your bladder. What happens is when you eat enough salt and you drink enough water, and I talked about this yesterday, you might start peeing out your butt. And again, I know it's gross, but it is what it is. So you will urinate a lot more, but yeah, there's no food going into your body. So don't expect a whole lot of solid stools to be coming out at this point in the fast. At some point, you will have dumped everything from your last meal, ostensibly July the 4th. And especially as you get deeper into this, stuff will still come out, but it'll just be minimal. And don't let that freak you out. It's not a surprise. You're not eating food. So carnivore heals, day 2 zombie mode in full effect. Yes, that whole is in full effect. Exactly. Diana says, I had a rash when I started that seems to get more itchy throughout the day. Will that get better? Well, I'm not a doctor, and I wouldn't pretend to play one here on Instagram, so You might want to ask a doctor about that. Don't know what's going on there. Ketoholic says, thanks, Jimmy, for always being there for us and educating. You're welcome. Digoosh, yesterday you mentioned if poop is like peeing, it may be too much salt for past 12 hours. It's been that way. Any thoughts? You've really helped me. Look forward to these Instagram live Jimmy rants. Yeah. You're just going to have to work through it. And plus, keep in mind, depends on your last meal. Depends on how you were eating before you started this fast. There might be just some stuff in there that needs to come out. So don't freak out about it. Let it come out. And just know that once it's out of you, you're probably going to feel better. And so, yes, trust me, I've been there where it's constant coming out the backside. And it's not fun the way it comes out. But once it's out. And you should feel a whole lot better. And so, adjust the salt if you need to. Definitely keep hydrating, keep salting, keep electrolyting. But maybe adjust some of the levels to see if that helps. Martha says it's awesome to have you on twice a day. I'm pumped. Thanks a million. You're welcome, Martha. Sharon says I feel silly asking, but mass tomorrow and receiving the host, is that breaking the fast? Body of Christ. So I hope not, and not wanting to have my 8-year-old asking why I'm not receiving with him. Sharon, thank you for asking this question. If you have read my book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, you will see a story in there that I shared about the first time I ever tried to do a 7-day fast. And on day 7, I took communion. I had the little wafer, I had the little cup, and I thought, okay, God's going to forgive me because I'm honoring him. And I proceeded to have hypoglycemia. That then led me to a binge on keto stuff for the next 3 hours. So if you feel like you need to take communion, then please break your fast before you do that, because you don't want to break it with that, even that little bit of carbohydrate. It will wreck you. So my recommendation is have a little something to eat tomorrow, break your fast, and then take the communion. And then if you want to try again down the road, that's good. But circumstances are, and I get what you're trying to do with your 8-year-old, be that example. Yeah, don't take that while you're fasting. Is it possible to take too much salt while fasting? Yeah, tiramisu, you can. The good news is your body will excrete it, but sometimes the way it excretes it is not good, like we've been talking about. Kimberly says, I might do the August one right before I go to the beach. That's probably a good idea, Kimberly. Leanne says, serious bad headache yesterday, caffeine withdrawal, otherwise good, not hungry at all right now. It is amazing the satiety that starts to kick in. Day 2 may be the wrong day to talk about satiety on a fast, but I'm feeling pretty good. Now, you still have those little moments here and there, so you're going to ride those moments as we've talked about. But for the most part, you realize just how little food you actually need in the day-to-day. That doesn't mean you eat less and under eat calories, but I think sometimes we have so conditioned our brains of eat at this time, that our bodies have become used to that. So when you pull that away, you grab back control of that, like we talked about on yesterday's Jimmy Rants. Plan on starting tomorrow when I'm back at my house. Excellent, Kimberly. Gundolin says, I really look forward to these videos. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Keto for real life people's in the house. What's up, Nancy? Mindset determines success or failure. Supporting each other is an important tool to push yourself toward reaching your goals. Wise wisdom, my dear. Thank you for sharing. Crankin says, why would blood sugar be up to 131 and ketones down to 0.2 this morning? Seems opposite of what should happen going on 40 hours. Crankin, thank you for bringing this up. So while some people have reported that they're having extraordinarily high compared to keto levels of ketones 4, 5, 6 and blood sugar getting down, one lady just reported 49, other people like yourself are seeing an interesting phenomenon, and I want to explain this. We talked all about this in the Complete Guide to Fasting. When you have insulin resistance, when you have body weight on your body, you have pockets of sugar deep within your stored body fat. So when you go on a fast, you are releasing stored body fat. Well, when you do that, what else are you releasing into your bloodstream? Those pockets of sugar. And so the pockets of sugar will temporarily raise your blood glucose. And in this case, for you, got up to 131. And when blood glucose goes up, it will kill your ketones. To me, you need to see this as a very positive sign that healing is happening. And it will continue to happen the more you stay on this fast. And the fact that you got it this quickly into a fast, what'd you say, 40 hours into a fast. So on day number 2, you're seeing blood glucose at a level it's not supposed to be when you haven't eaten for 2 days. And blood ketones at a low level that you would normally see probably 10 times higher, if not higher than that. Don't freak out. It's normal. You're healing. Let that healing happen. And just keep doing it. Keep on fasting. You more than most probably need to be doing this. And so kudos for making that happen. Don't freak out. You're making good stuff happen for you. Thrive Mom says 34-ish hours in, woke up determined, feeling amazing. Let's chat about strenuous workouts and activities. Yes, don't. That's the chat. Don't. If you're going to do strenuous exercise, you're just asking for trouble on an extended fast. Said another way, strenuous exercise, glycolytically demanding exercise. Now, I've talked about this before. If you want to do a yoga class, you want to mow your grass, you want to walk around the block, all good. But don't go try to lift a new PR in the gym when you're in a fully fasted state like this and not eating afterwards. You're just asking for hunger. You're asking for cravings. You're asking for your body to rebel, because the body is not meant to be that way, be used that way, glycolytically demanding type of activities when you are full on fasting, especially day 2 with 5 more days ahead of you. Don't do that to yourself. So hard no. My blood sugar is currently in the 50s and 60s. Yep, normal. Texas Livingston, that's normal. Let's see. Andy says, I'm 60 plus hours in now. Thanks for touching on the sleep thing. Last night was rough, but you've convinced me it will improve. It will. And you may see that the actual amount of time in the bed isn't that long, but you're fully rested. And so I want you to hold tight to that you might have less sleep, but it means your body doesn't have to repair as much. And that's not a bad thing at all. Keto Doc says, I'm really enjoying the camaraderie to make this process fun and achievable. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah. When I put out this call, I had no idea I would get so much response to this fast, but I've loved it too, Keto Doc. And I think corporately doing it together with a whole bunch of other people, plus somebody that you love, I hope you guys love me anyway, somebody that you love, it does make it easier, I hope. So that's why we're here. Jan says, I frosted my best glass, added plain seltzer water and ice, a fasting cocktail. It really hit the spot. Hey, whatever floats your boat. That's awesome. The Carnitarian said, I just salted myself. Day 2 is on. Dilly. Yesterday was rough, says Brooks. Today I'm feeling so much better thanks to the salt and magnesium. Dilly. Chris says, I'm following you on this fast journey. I am considering doing the one in August too. I will have to talk to my endocrinologist. I have Graves' disease, hyperthyroidism. Definitely talk to your doctor. Day 3 starts in 3 hours, says Anita. Going strong. I think it was is worked well starting in the middle of the day. Yes, middle of the day is an interesting one, because I started middle of the day, 4th of July, which means this coming up Thursday, which I'll be traveling that day, this coming up Thursday, I have the ability to end the fast. Now, I'm doing a speaking gig in Northern Virginia next weekend, and they want me to talk about cholesterol, my story, fasting, and health on a ketogenic diet. So that's literally all that I'm talking about. And so I told the organizers, they texted me this morning, they're like, hey, we could help you break your fast. We'll feed you when you come in on Friday. And I said, You know, it might be kind of fun if I do the talk in a fully fasted state 9 days in, but don't tell them until the end. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't eaten in 9 days. Like, that'd be awesome, right? Melody says, how much fasting drops are you adding to that glass of water? 10 drops into this glass of water. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm not obsessing about it. If 12 get in there, I'm not going to, oh my gosh, I have to put more water in to dilute it. Chris says, I notice when I get to about 22 hours in my 24-hour intermittent fast, my heart rate increases a lot. My metabolism must be super revved up. Maybe. And it could be electrolyte stuff as well, because that arrhythmia and heartbeat dysregulation can be a sign that your electrolytes are a little out of balance. So make sure that you're drinking and salting and electrolyting very well. Brooke says peppermint essential oil helps brighten you up, can help calm the spacey feeling and the slight headaches until your salt and water kick in. I just put it on a cotton ball and sniff. I actually have some essential oils in a little breathable thing like this, and so I love that. And great reminder, Brooks. Thank you for that. Chris says that was my fear of going much further. Weakness and other issues will get with my endo first. I want to do an extended fast. Beth is asking the question, will the urination slow down at what point? When? Well, keep in mind, Beth, that you're not going to dump glycogen that long. It usually takes about 48 to 72 hours for all the glycogen stores that are going to get dumped, which has the water in it, which has the electrolytes. And so it will hopefully let up by the end of day 3 into day 4, hopefully. Chris says, I use salt and keto drops daily in my coffee. I think it's my thyroid hormones that makes it difficult. Yeah. Terry says, is walking for 3 miles okay if it's my normal exercise? Well, if you're just walking's fine. But keep in mind, anything that is going to be glycolytically demanding, that's going to require glucose, which would typically be lifting heavy, doing some strenuous type of exercise, HIIT training, running, that kind of thing, a spin class. Don't do any of those things. But if you're just walking for 3 miles, that's probably fine. It probably will relax you. It'll put you in a more parasympathetic state, take away some stress, and it should help you on your fast. But I wouldn't do anything strenuous at all. Linda's asking if you can take any medications like blood pressure pills while fasting. You need to talk with your doctor about that. I'm not going to share anything medical like that. Certainly anything like that, you need to talk with your doctor and let him know what you're doing. I will tell you that when you go on a fast, your blood pressure will naturally go down. And so maybe you don't need it, but I'm not making that decision for you. You need to talk to your doctor about what you're doing. Lisa says the grumbling stomach is so annoying. I just keep telling myself salt and we can do it. It's a mind challenge for sure. It is. And day 2's the hardest, Lisa. So if you're in day number 2 and you're having those feelings, just know that's normal. Just know this is the worst it gets. It is. Day 2 is the very worst that it gets the entire fast. Some people get some feelings into day 3 as well, but most of it is concentrated in this day number 2. You get past this day, the rest of this 7 days is going to be a breeze. I know I keep saying that. I know a bunch of you are skeptical, but believe me, guys, I've done enough of these. Day 2, maybe into day 3 is the worst of the worst. The rest of the week is going to be such a cinch. Get to day 4 and you will hug my neck later. I promise you. You will. Sharon says, my son is like a little old man in a tiny body. He even watches you with me. I think I will explain things to him a bit. Hi. Rosalind says, I know it's not your area of expertise, but what is a good or bad time for fasting for women? Well, most certainly not during your menstrual cycle. And I told the story recently of my friend Keto Coach Lauren, who started on a 3-day fast with the Redmond's Real Salt people. And day number 3 of the fast was the day she was starting her period. And so wasn't good. She was starving. I was trying to help talk her off the ledge that last day because she so wanted to eat. And if you know that about yourself, and you ladies, you have this timing you have to do with these fasts, make sure that you're timing them at a good time so that you don't cause detriment to yourself. You need to remove all obstacles. If you know your time of the month is coming up, avoid. If you know you have some event coming up, whether you're a guy or a girl, don't necessarily plan to do a long fast in the midst of that. Like today at my church, they're going to have an 80-pound pig roast. I knew it was coming, but I also wanted to see how well I would do with the temptation of having something like that. So yes, I'm testing myself today. That's a little bit later on this afternoon. I will be about into the third day, about halfway through the third day by the time that pig roast happens. So going to be challenging, but we'll get through it. That'll be fun. Lisa says, is being in the heat a major concern when fasting? Well, don't. I mean, don't get overheated, because your body will view that as a stressor, and then it will send a hormonal response to make you hungry. So I think that could be a detriment if you're not careful with it. All right, guys. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, I hope you're getting it loud and clear. Just get through day number 2 of this extended fast. I'm just so incredibly proud of all of you that have taken me up on this water fasting challenge. You're going to see great benefits from this if you keep it going. But I want to give you one word of advice. If you don't feel well, please end it if you must. Don't be the hero. This isn't a race. If the longest you've ever gone is 18 hours and you've made it 48 hours, by golly, you made it 48 hours and you end the fast, and you be proud of what you've accomplished. So keep it up, guys. I'm still here with you. I may have to do a little bit earlier this afternoon than I have been with the update in the afternoon. So maybe it'll be around 3:30 Eastern time for the next update, but because of the pig roast thing tonight. But I will be back a little bit later on. Don't you fear. Get through day 2. I really want you guys to succeed. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live with me, but you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live just like all these awesome people did here today. Thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, or youtube.com/Livin' Low Carb Man. Go subscribe, guys. I've increased my subscribers there by about 1,000 just this past week from all you crazy fasting people. So thank you for that. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show. It's a podcast over on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. It's called Jimmy Rants. All of the links, if you need them, are at JimmyRants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.